1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a buzz like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord. To me, flirting is just like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me jump in, please sing in the trumpet. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erika by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Mambo number 5. Jump up and down and move it all around. Shake your hand to the sound, put your hands on the ground. Take one step left and one step right. One to the front and one to the side. Clap your hands once and clap your hands twice. And if it looks like this, then you're doing it. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erika by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Mambo number 5. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erika by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. I do all to fall in love with a girl like you. 'Cause you can't run, you can't hide. You and me gonna touch the sky. Mambo number 5.
Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun. sweet. If I could be sweet. I know I've been a real bad girl. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. We can make it better. Tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet?
I wanna get away to our sweetest days. I wanna get away, yeah.
You melt me down, I'm at my lowest boiling point. Come help me out, I need to get me out of this joint. Come on, let's bounce, counting on you to turn me around. Instead of clowning around, let's look for some common ground. So baby, time's getting a little crazy. I've been getting a little lazy, waiting you to come save me. I can see that you're angry by the way that you treat me. Hopefully you don't leave me, wanna take you with me. If I could escape and recreate a place that's my own world, and I could be your favorite girl forever, perfectly together. And tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet? If I could be sweet. I know I've been a real bad girl. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. We can make it better. And tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet? If I could escape, if I could escape, 'cause I've been acting like how I'm not on the floor. It's your fault you didn't shut the refrigerator. Maybe that's the reason I've been acting so cold. If I could escape and recreate a place that's my own world, and I could be your favorite girl forever, perfectly together. And tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet? If I could be sweet. I know I've been a real bad girl. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. We can make it better. And tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet?
I wanna get away to our sweetest days. I wanna get away, yeah.
time to. Sweetheart is bleeding in the snow cone. So smart, she's leading me to ozone. Music, the great communicator. Use two sticks to make it in the nature. I'll get you into penetration. The gender of a generation. The birth of every other nation. Look your way to go to meditation. This chapter's gonna be a close one. Smoke rings, I know you're gonna blow one. All on a spaceship persevering. Use my hands for everything but steering. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. Mom tops are happy when they feed you. Jay butterflies in the treetop. Birds that blow the meaning in the deep. The world I love, the tears I drop. To be part of the wave can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you? The world I love, the trains I hop. To be part of the wave can't stop. Come and tell me when it's time to. Wait a minute, I'm passing out, win or lose, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. How about you? 10 more reasons why I need somebody new, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. Right on cue. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop top, he says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. Just pump the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bright, I wonder what the wave meant. Kickstart the golden generate hub. Sweet talk but don't intimidate hub. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get you maybe even 3 of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This
I
life is more
feel
than
good. I knew that I would not. So good, so good. I got you.
Remember your dreams, your future, your education? Has private student loan debt destroyed those dreams? It doesn't have to. Why Refi refinances distressed or defaulted private student loans that others won't touch. They can save you thousands of dollars, get you a custom payment that you can afford, and they don't care what your credit score is. Don't let private student loan debt ruin your life. Call Why Refi today.
I see him speak, I see him lead, I see him.
What concrete steps can I take now in order to achieve the goal of doing my part to make America great again?
You should go to Hillsdale College, America's greatest college.
If I could learn like Charlie, if I could learn like Charlie.
So I listened to your podcast. I'm taking Hillsdale online courses right now.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it.
What should I read? How do I set my generation free? I need to know. How do I grow like Charlie? If I could learn like Charlie, I wanna learn.
I'm on pace to complete every single Hillsdale online course.
Every year, we add something new. Another dream, another voice, another story.
Welcome to the comeback of Gold Star Science, Beauty, and Backbone. Welcome home. Teach your children how to blaze a trail of glory. Go lead in truth and go be the light.
Bold, visionary, God-fearing women, all shaping who we are. This summit isn't changing who it's for, it's changing how far it can reach. Because leadership grows stronger when every woman has a place in the story. We do it for you. We do it for her. Curated for her, the Women's Leadership Summit.
Hi, folks. You may be hearing a lot about Why Refi these days.
Student loans are now sitting at $1.8 trillion.
You need to talk to Why Refi. And they don't care what your credit score is.
My partner and I created this company with the intention of taking it to help borrowers get out of debt. Why Refi is the only company in the country that does what we do.
I think very highly Why Refi. We're all in with them.
We invited God into our homes. We invite him into our company. We want to make it an incentive for you to want to work with Why Refi. We give these folks the dignity to pay back their debt.
Please welcome the Chief Investment Officer and Managing Partner of Why Refi, Lane Schoberger.
Wow, good evening. Boy, I can feel the excitement in this room. It's fun to be back on this tour. Thank you. You know, it's an honor to be here among so many driven, passionate people who believe in our country and what it stands for. Why Refi is proud to continue our partnership with Turning Point, honoring our friend Charlie Kirk and sponsoring the This is the Turning Point Tour. Each of us likely has our own reasons for believing our country is so great. I'd like to share a few that mean something to me. Faith, freedom, and family. All very important, as you probably can guess. Take it one step further. We're in a country where you have the ability to create and implement ideas that make the world a better place. It's also known as capitalism. So here we stand at a crossroads. And now more than ever, it is crucial to have leaders who speak the truth boldly. That's why you're here. You're those leaders. We need to get back to our conservative values. We need people willing to protect our God-given rights, which were carefully drafted into the Constitution. We must look back on our history, warts and all, and learn from it, or we're destined to repeat it. More importantly, we need people to be willing to engage in a civil conversation. We need everyone to understand that sometimes those conversations can be tough, but conversations lead to turning points. So let's get real. Let's talk about a point that needs to be turned. There are numerous reasons why our country is drowning in debt, but I think we can all agree that out of control government spending, waste, and theft is the primary reason. So I want to take just a moment and discuss one part of the problem. And it's interesting because the video that you just watched, that's not even a year old. That's like 6 months old. And as of this morning, total student loan debt is now at $1.85 trillion, held by approximately 45 million Americans. I'm willing to bet most of you in this room have some form of student loan debt. Here's the thing, the government doesn't give the whole truth. Approximately 70% of student loans have a co-borrower. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa selflessly co-sign these loans so that their students could have one simple desire: to ensure that they received a college education with the hope of providing their family with a better and more secure future. Well, if you do the math on that, 45 million Americans just grew to 70 million Americans. This debt includes both federal and private loans, with the majority being federal. There are several ways to solve the student loan crisis, but the first one is to remove the government from the lending business. Yeah. And return control to the private markets where it belongs. If history has taught us anything, we already know that if we allow capitalism to address a problem, solutions will be found. So my partner and I, we founded Refi because we saw that millions of young people were graduating from college with insurmountable student loan debt with no clear path to repay it. So I want to speak directly to the students and the young leaders here today. Many of you are dreaming big, and you should. You're building your future. You're investing in yourselves and stepping into the world with passion and purpose. However, I also know that for many young people, those dreams come with a price tag that may follow you for decades. At Refi, we hear those stories every single day. Bright, capable, hardworking individuals who did everything right. They went to school, they tried to build a better life, and yet they found themselves trapped under the weight of crippling student loan debt. So here's what I want you to know. That debt does not define you. It does not erase your potential. It does not dictate your future. Sadly, borrowers who fall behind on their payments and fall into default have very few options. Many of the stories that we hear from students are drowning in debt. It's heartbreaking. Parents and grandparents only find that there's a problem when the collection calls start. It causes tremendous strife. It tears families apart. It's indentured servitude. At Refi, our mission is simple yet powerful. We're here to help people find a way out of the most crushing form of debt in this country, student loan debt. Refi helps turn that burden into a breakthrough, enabling borrowers to rebuild their lives. That's exactly what we do. We refinance distressed private student loans. Maybe someday, this administration, we might have a shot to help people with the federal student loans. We'll see. Cross your fingers and maybe throw a prayer to God on that one. We don't do it by chasing people down or writing them off. We put them into a manageable, sustainable plan to get out of debt. We believe in second chances. We believe in accountability, and we believe in doing what no other company has done before. We help borrowers succeed quickly, paying back their debt with dignity rather than pushing them into predatory loans. We built Refi because we believe that you deserve a second chance, a real path forward. Our work isn't about numbers and interest rates. It's about restoring hope. It's about saying it's about saying that you are more than your student loan balance. So if you ever need our help, check us out at yrefi.com. When you call, you won't be directed to some offshore call center. You're going to talk to a human being in Arizona. No phone trees, just real people. So whether you need our help or not, I want you to carry this with you. Never let debt steal your drive, student loan debt or any other debt, frankly. Never let setback silence your purpose. There is always a way forward and people who believe in you. You're sitting around a group of them, Refi, Turning Point. I'd like to direct this next point to those in the audience who believe in the principles of capitalism, entrepreneurship, innovation, and the American dream. My partner and I founded Refi based on these principles, and for those reasons, we have chosen not to use any institutional capital to fund this company. No venture capital, no Wall Street money. We've elected to invite people just like you, accredited investors, looking for an opportunity to invest in an opportunity that is not tied to the stock market. It's just part of our mission. Our motto says it all, doing well by doing good. The amazing work we do at Refi, we raise capital from accredited investors who share our values and mission, helping borrowers succeed, allowing investors to prosper. Together, we're proving that integrity, compassion, and capitalism can indeed coexist. You're here because you're here in this room right now because you believe and support Turning Point and its mission. And if you'd like to support the Refi mission, I'd like to leave you with one idea. You may have heard our commercials, our endorsements, Charlie, and so forth, and how we pay fixed interest rates to investors. It is true. We've been paying those interest rates for years. If participating and supporting both Turning Point and Refi is of interest, here's something to consider. If you were to invest $100,000 at Refi in a 5-year investment, because we calculate your interest daily, your monthly interest that we'd send you is over $800 a month. It's pretty good. You can send a portion of your monthly interest income to Turning Point to support the hard work that these folks are doing. Take the other half, take it for yourself. Give it to another charity. Do whatever you want with it. Something to consider. And in 5 years, you get your $100,000 back. That's pretty cool, right? If you'd like to learn more about investing with Refi, check out investYRefi.com. And before I close, I'd just like to take a moment. I'd like to honor Charlie and Erika Kirk. Their belief in Refi has meant the world to me personally and to our employees. Charlie and Erika believe in what Refi stands for, our mission, our approach, and the impact we make. Erika's continued support inspires us every day to keep pushing forward, to keep fighting for the idea that everyone deserves a path to redemption and prosperity. Erika, thank you for your friendship and for believing in Refi. And to everyone at Turning Point, thank you for believing in America, in freedom, and for giving the microphone back to the truth tellers. With that, thank you. God bless this country. God bless you. God bless Turning Point. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome to the stage, Joshua Ames.
Yeah, let's go. This is the last second edition tonight, and Christ is Lord. Am I right? He is. I've just recently been getting more and more involved with TPUSA, and the reason is because the last 2 years of Charlie Kirk's life, I watched him become more and more convinced and convicted that Jesus Christ must be the foundation of our politics. And we see it. That's right. Amen. Amen. And if you don't believe that, you're wrong, okay? You're just wrong. I have encountered so many young people over the last year of going on campus. And I'll encounter some of these guys, and they've got all the right-based, super-based, red pill, right-wing convictions, all these political convictions. But so many of them don't know why they're right. They don't know why. The reason why you're right in your base red pill convictions is not because you're owning the libs, okay? That's easy. It's not because you're upsetting the feminists. That anybody could do that. That is incredibly easy, okay? The reason that you're right with these base red pill, right-wing convictions is because most of them, generally speaking, are rooted and grounded in something eternal. And if you're not rooting your political convictions in something eternal, namely the Word of God, then you're not standing on anything. You are on quicksand, okay? And that's why I am so honored to be a part of this movement, because I watched as Charlie Kirk made it a point to bring the Word of God to bear, to bring his faith to bear in politics and in culture. We are in the fight of our lives. We are in the fight of our lives right now. This is life or death. This is the political struggle that we are in, is life or death. We don't have time to waste. We don't have time to waste getting in petty little arguments about this or that. We must be rooting and grounding every single thing that we believe in something eternal. All right, that's how you know. That's why I'm so confident I get to know that I'm right. When I would do these change my mind tabling events, I go in with confidence, not because I'm so smart. I'm not really that smart, in case you can't tell. I know a few things. I don't know how I feel about you clapping about that last night, but I'll take it. Woo! I'm going to pretend you're clapping for Jesus, okay? Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Psalm 2 says, "Why do the heathen nations vainly rage against our God's Messiah?" All right? Jesus Christ is Lord of all. He is Lord of this country. He is Lord of this state. He is Lord of all, everything. There is not a single square inch of the entirety of all of human existence over which Christ, who is sovereign over all, does not cry, "Mine." And that must be the foundation of our politics. Am I right? Amen. Jesus Christ is Lord. And that's all I got for you today, guys.
Please welcome Jack Pasone.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us here at George Washington University for Turning Point USA. And I got, I don't know, a little bit of a question. Do we have any patriots in the audience tonight? Do we have any moms and dads or future moms and dads in the audience tonight? And I'm just saying, if you're single, look to your left, look to your right. This is a good spot. I'm just saying, hey, what? I kid you not. Wow, I just started a thing, didn't I? Okay. I kid you not, and she's actually here tonight, and believe it or not, and we'll bring her out in a minute, but I actually met my wife at a Bible study. Believe it or not, I really did. It's 100% true. People are like, "Oh, so you're making it up." No, seriously, I met her at a Bible study, and it was 11 years ago, and I think that if you meet someone and you do so where your values are in alignment, where the big picture is in alignment, you're going to disagree in relationships. I didn't even think I was going to talk about this tonight, but I just am. And you're going to have those moments, and it's ups and downs, it's all of it. But if you agree on the big picture things, if you agree on conservatism versus liberalism, if you agree in growing up as a society, if you agree on having children, growing up as a family and making a family together, then I guarantee you that your marriage will be strong, it will be successful, and it will, in fact, be God blessed. I 100% believe that. And I have faith in all of that. And many years ago, I came up with this phrase, actually, and they put it on T-shirts and stuff, and it was, be a rebel, start a family. Be a rebel, start a family. Charlie Kirk used to say, get married, have kids. Folks, can we give it up for a second for our good friend and the man who is still the leader in so many spiritual ways of Turning Point USA, Charles James Kirk. And I know that you guys are so excited, and I'm excited to hear from Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt in just a few minutes. By the way, I saw Caroline backstage. She was on the phone. I think she was dealing with some of the fake news media out there. And let me tell you, she wins every single time. They've never been able to get one past her. And she's going to be out here in just a few moments and joined in these two chairs behind me by the new CEO of Turning Point USA, Mrs. Erika Kirk. Who's ready for Erika tonight? And Erika has just done such an incredible job. And when we found out, when we got the news about what happened to Charlie when he was murdered, and I always say it that way, by the way. I always say Charlie was murdered or assassinated or stripped from us or stolen from us, because don't let them underplay that for 1 minute. Don't let the media, don't let the left, don't let them downplay what happened. Charlie Kirk was the man that would come to campuses just like this one right here, and he would sit down in the quad, he would sit down at a table, and he said, let's have a conversation. He would say, let's talk. He would say, let's have a debate. Because what could be more important than that? Going through a debate, having that freedom of speech, having that exchange of ideas. Whether you agree, you disagree, you hash it out, but you do so with respect for one another. That is what Charlie Kirk stood for. Charlie Kirk was the happy warrior. That is why they came after Charlie, because they could not out-debate him. They could not outsmart him. That is the legacy of Charlie Kirk, and that is why every single one of you is in this crowd tonight. And God bless you for having the courage to step up and say that you will continue the legacy, that you will continue the fight of Charlie Kirk. It's not about any of us. It is about each and every one of you. It's true. And I do want to tell you something, because, and we could talk about what happened 6 months ago. We could talk about what happened in 2024. But did you know that long before all that, long before all of us, long before even the United States of America was ever founded, that 2,000 years ago, a king walked the earth. A king walked among us. A king came down from heaven. Not a politician, not a warlord, but the Son of God himself, who turned to mortal form and walked among us. And that king did not come with a sword. That king did not come with a political manifesto. He came with the truth, the raw, unfiltered, unvarnished, eternal, divine truth. that whosoever believes in him will achieve eternal life. And what did this world do? The elites, the bureaucrats, the mob of his time, we know. They spit in his face. They gave him a crown. Our king wore a crown of thorns, and they nailed him to a cross, and they thought that they had won. Satan thought that he had won. They thought that they had buried the light. They thought they had buried the way. They thought they had buried the truth. But Christ himself proved them wrong. He proved them wrong because on the third day, he rolled back the stone of the tomb. The king rose and the gates of hell trembled after Christ himself stormed them. And that is the story they don't want you to hear. Because I'm not talking, we know what Sunday is. And yes, we're going to have a great time. And for those of you with kids, you're going to have Easter eggs. You're going to have Easter baskets. And yes, even the Easter bunny. But folks, the real Easter is about rebellion. It is about the ultimate red pill. It is about Christ the King kicking over the tables of the money changers in the temple, staring down the Pharisees, breaking the chains of death himself, and a reminder that no empire, no ideology, no demon, no lie, not even Satan himself can stand up against the King of Kings. And look, I don't know if you guys expected me to be political tonight. But I was thinking of being a little bit more theological. I hope you guys don't mind. Would that be all right with you? Would that be all right with you guys if I broke it down a little bit on the religion side? Because folks, today is Holy Thursday, and tomorrow is Good Friday, the most solemn day of the year, the day that Christ sacrificed everything for us. Because God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, but he stopped at the last moment. He said, no, I see you're willing, but no, I'm not going to make you do that. And he asked him to take a lamb instead of his son, because I will not ask my follower to do that. But what did God do as a father? He sacrificed his own son for every single one of us, every single one of you, every single generation that has come before, every single generation that has gone beyond, because that is a father's love. And it takes a Good Friday to achieve an Easter Sunday. When you go through the pit of hell itself, when you are faced with the gates of hell itself, understand that when God is on your side, you will rise again. Christ rose again, because it's not just a celebration. It's about picking sides. Are you on the side of the king, or are you on the side of the cursed? And you look around at the world. We see the cursed, don't we? You see these people. They're restless. They're angry. And they're not hiding anymore. We know this. We saw the No Kings protest this weekend, and oh my gosh, right? They're out there, they're in the streets, they're in boardrooms, they're in the algorithms. They're the ones telling you that truth can be relative and good is evil, and the cross, that's just some symbol, because we know what they're doing. They're building their own kingdom, a soulless machine where they want you to be nothing but a cog. They want you to be a consumer. They want you to kneel. They want you to bow down, but not to the Savior, not to the King, not to Christ, not to God, to their dogma. Cancer culture, woke ideology, racial tensions, gender studies, bow down to all that. But no, we know about that temptation. That's the serpent. That's the enemy. The same one as it always was. Because this is cultural, and it is political, and it is all of those things. But ultimately, this is a spiritual war that we are in, and it has always been a spiritual war from the moment the serpent slithered into the garden. And they've got their megaphones, but guess what? Now we've got ours. Now we've got Turning Point USA. Now we've got Christ the King. And I'll tell you right now, the King has already won. And remember that and tattoo it to your hearts. The King has already won. And you know what'll happen. You go out there, they'll mock you, they'll slander you, they'll curse you. And you saw what they did to Charlie. You saw what they did. But ultimately, Easter Sunday comes for all. Because the cross defeated the grave. The cross defeated the tomb. God defeated the tomb. The King is risen and the cursed are on notice. So choose your side. Arm yourself with the truth, with the sword of St. Michael, and we will take back. We will take it all back, the spiritual war. So let's take back the earth as well. One soul, one battle, one victory at a time, for he is risen. And this Sunday, we will all be able to proclaim in one loud voice together, and I hope we will, that he is risen and his light will wash over the earth, not just for this generation and every generation to come. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. And I came out here and I was talking about family, and I was thinking about Charlie, and I was thinking about his family, and every single moment that was taken from them, that was ripped from them, and all the generations to come, because I knew how much Charlie loved Erika and his children. I knew that he lived everything for them. And if you could just join me now in a moment of silence and prayer for Charlie and for his family. Just real quick, I'm not going to take a ton of time, but let's remember that and never, ever let them forget what was taken, because a debt is owed. A debt is owed to his wife and to those children for every single moment that was stolen from their lives. A debt is owed. And because we remember family, I wanted to bring out some people that are very close to me, talking about the next generation, talking about what the goal is in life, talking about the goodness in life. Come on, guys, don't be shy. I want to talk to you and introduce you to my son, Jack. He's right here. To my son, AJ, his little brother, and their beautiful wife, Tanya, who, yes, and fact check me, where did we meet?
Bible study.
All right, we met at Bible study. Boys, are you, let me ask you something. Let's come up here a little bit. Let's come up here a little bit so they can see you. You're hiding a little bit. I know we're just a little bit over time. It'll be okay. Boys, what is Sunday?
Easter.
And what happened on Easter?
Jesus rose from the dead.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And AJ, are you ready for Easter?
Yeah.
He's ready for Easter. We're all ready for Easter. And that is what it's all about. Go out there and continue to spread the good news. Spread the news far and wide. That's what Charlie stood for. That was Charlie's animating voice. That's what was in his heart. He is
people, but to me, Charlie was a champion, not just of free speech, but of the American spirit, like no other. For years, I dreamed of bringing Charlie to this campus, doing something similar to what we're doing right now. And for just bringing Charlie's voice here and to make that difference right here in the heart of America. And I thought after Charlie was assassinated, how would it even be possible to keep that vision alive? How would it be possible to fill this room today? But then I realized it wasn't true, because Charlie's voice can and will still be brought to this campus. It'll be brought to every other campus across America because of each and every one of you. It's now up to all of us to carry that torch. And I won't lie, there will be times when the struggle seems impossible, when it seems too challenging, when it seems too tough. But folks, I know this already. There's times where things might seem lonely, unsure, uncertainty, dwarfed by the scale of an evil that we can't even imagine. But remember this, freedom is a pure idea. It occurs spontaneously and without instruction. And together as one, we are stronger. So if you're sitting here tonight and thinking, this looks great, I want to be a part of this. Oh, these guys on the stage look cool. You know what? Let's join them. Well, guess what? And if you want to make an impact, know this, we want you with us. The chapter here at GW, we're building something real on this campus for people who are engaged, who are thinking, who actually care about what's going on, not just here in our little GW bubble, but across America, around the world. Because it's not just politics. It's about upholding what American values, it's about upholding the American values this country was built on and building a society where people can feel that they can speak freely, ask questions, challenge ideas without being held or shut down for it. And again, that's what we're building here tonight. And tonight is proof that this is working. All of you sitting here in the crowd tonight, that's proof of that. Quick but important, take 30 seconds tonight to check your voter registration with the flyer that was handed to you when you walked in the door. Because if you care about the future, it's up to all of us, and you have to show up when it counts. And where are all the ladies in the room tonight? Because Turning Point USA's Women's Leadership Summit is happening in San Antonio, Texas, June 5th through 7th. And I'm told it's going to be a great time. Obviously, I can't go, not a girl, but for all the girls in the room, I recommend going. And speaking of that, make sure you stop by the TPUSA table near the entrance if you haven't already. Meet the team, get plugged in, take that next step, or head to tpusastudents.com if, you're a little lazy, but that's okay. But get involved, that's the point. All right, now before we get started, I would love everyone to indulge me for just a few more seconds. Let's have a little fun with this. If you have a rally sign on your chair, which I know all of you do since our wonderful volunteers put them there, and I helped out as well. Raise that nice and high. And if you don't have a sign for whatever strange reason, I need you to give me the loudest cheer for Charlie that you've got. There's a camera team, so yeah, right there. So, on 3, everyone give me your loudest cheer for Charlie. 1, 2, 3. Wow. I got chills from that. I can't lie. I got chills from that. Great job. See, that's the GW spirit I know and love to see. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you guys all for being here tonight at George Washington University. Let's make some noise. Let's get this thing started. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America.
Who are you?
My name is Charlie Kirk, and I love America.
Why are you here?
Because I love talking with people I disagree with.
What have you done for your country?
Started an organization that's now in 1,000+ campuses to save the greatest culture and country ever to exist. I go around universities and have challenging conversations because that's what is so important to our country, to find our disagreements respectfully. I love talking to people I disagree with. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens.
I don't agree with you on a lot of stuff, but I really respect, and I think you don't agree with me on a lot of stuff, but I really respect that you'll have a dialogue. How do you think we get more people that can argue like that on both sides of the aisle?
I think this event is a great example of it, right? I think that this event is, we need to have differing opinions. We need to have people that don't share the same worldview and see which one is better and try to find common bond. You should have your own discussions like this every day. You should try to model it and try to have, back and forth, and that's what makes the country strong and great, civil dialogue.
Political education was not just through the rise of President Trump, but also the rise of Charlie Kirk. Yep. Watching Charlie from a distance was so inspiring to me as a young conservative woman. I got to know him personally when I decided to run for Congress, and he was a tremendous supporter and friend.
Your generation is living at a crossroads. You are living in one of the most defining moments in American history, and we are all witnessing in real time the battle that is raging for the soul of your generation.
Please welcome White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and CEO and Chair of TPUSA, Erika Kirk.
Hello. This is a great turnout.
Hello, GW.
This is awesome. So we were talking backstage for a little bit. You don't look pregnant.
I feel it, girl.
Yeah.
9 months pregnant today. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So
let's hope that I don't have to go to GW Hospital tonight.
Right. I hope so too. We were reminiscing backstage of how when I was pregnant, I was like 190 some pounds, and Charlie kept bringing me, he'd be like, "You want a hot fudge sundae tonight, don't you?" And I was like, "I actually do." And he's like, "I'll come back, I'll go get one." And he just kept bringing all these different treats. Every night he'd come home from work, and that's how I was very fat and happy when I was pregnant. And you look amazing.
That's what husbands are for during pregnancy. And there has been no shortage of ice cream in our house either. So
we live vicariously through it all. So share with us how you met Charlie. I love hearing these stories of how people, their favorite memory or how they met him or what they carry with them of Charlie.
Yeah. So I was first introduced to Charlie, as you know, during my congressional campaign in 2022. I ran for Congress up in New Hampshire, which is my home state. We have some Granite Staters. Hi, guys. The first in the nation primary state. That's how I was introduced to politics. I came to D.C. I worked in President Trump's White House in the first term, started as an intern. And then, unfortunately, Joe Biden was installed as President of the United States. So I had to choose a different job. And I went over to Capitol Hill, and I was a communications director for former Congresswoman, soon to be former Elise Stefanik. And she actually really encouraged and inspired me to run for office. So I said, heck yeah, let's do it. And I launched my congressional campaign. And Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were the only organization in the political world that supported me. The entire establishment in this city were with my opponent in the primary, but I think Charlie loved that I was a young person who was stepping up to the plate, and he and Tyler reached out, flew me out to Arizona, met them at the headquarters, and then they said, we're on board fully, and they truly were. Throughout the entire primary, we met at the investor retreat in Arizona. They introduced me to all of these MAGA Patriot donors who contributed to my campaign. And I'll never forget it because Charlie gave me his word that he would support me, and he did all the way through, not just through that congressional run in the primary, and then in the general election when I did lose to the Democrat candidate, but God closed that door but opened another, which led me now to the White House podium, and Charlie was one of the first people the night that President Trump appointed me to this role that I'm in to congratulate me and say how proud he was. So I'll never forget that, and he's amazing.
How many of you that are students want to run for office one day? By a raise of hands.
Some hands. Don't be shy. We need more.
Yes. So my question is for these individuals and even others too, what is the process of that? Like, do you find an application? What was the stepping stone for you for all of it? I just want bare bone basics starting from day one and onward.
Yeah. It's not an easy process. Building a campaign is like building a business. You really have to start from the ground up. I was grateful to have worked for a congresswoman who was able to give me some guidance and sort of point me in the right direction. But you have to hire staff. You have to really depend on volunteers. And really, the very first campaign event that I did in New Hampshire, my dad brought me to it. He was my driver and my body man and my campaign manager that day. And we just showed up to a local Republican committee event in New Hampshire, and I walked in and said, hey, I'm Caroline Leavitt. I was born and raised here. I worked in the Trump White House. I'm back home. I want to run for Congress. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. But one event led to the next. And that's what running for office really is. That's what public service really is. It's gritty, hard work. Our campaign team knocked on more than 70,000 doors in that race, just in the primary alone, all across New Hampshire, all across the district, just earning one vote at a time. You have to be gritty and just put together a team, and I was grateful to have a lot of support from everyday patriots in New Hampshire who joined the fight with us, and then support from people like Charlie at the national level that really helped amplify the campaign, and it sort of just snowballed into this amazing experience, which, again, didn't fully work out. I'm obviously not a member of Congress now, but I think this job is, frankly, a lot more fun. So
I totally agree. So what was the process like to be the White House press secretary? Because I remember when Charlie was in Palm Beach when they were all putting together the admin. He loved it because it was as if his moment to be a football coach, of just quarterbacking who's going to go where in the admin. So what was the process like for you? Did you have people calling you? Did you have people throwing your name into the mix? And then did you just wake up one day and see a news article about it? What was the process?
So there really wasn't a process. So I worked as the national press secretary on the president's campaign. And I fell into that role after the loss of my congressional race. So that's a piece of advice I would give to the young people here. When a door closes, don't worry, because a new one is opening, and it's going to lead you to exactly where you need to be. So just take advantage of every opportunity in the moment and know that God has a plan, and He's going to forge your steps ahead and get you to where you want to go. Thank you. It's just the truth. And so I was running for Congress, lost the race, got a call from a friend who was working for President Trump's campaign that he had just launched in November 2022. And said, hey, the super PAC for President Trump, MAGA Inc., is looking for a spokeswoman. Do you want to come join? And I said, heck yeah. So I joined the super PAC as his spokeswoman. And then months later, when the campaign really started to rev up, Susie Wiles called and offered me the job as the campaign spokesperson, which I took willingly and wholeheartedly. She's my boss to this day, and she is amazing. And so I served with the president throughout the whole campaign, all of the trials, literally and figuratively speaking, the trials in courtrooms and rallies all around the country. And then he won the election. As you know well, Erika, and your husband played a huge role in that. And so after we won and we knew we were going to the White House, I thought, I hope I'll get a job. I don't know if I will. The president made a couple funny comments to me on the campaign, like, if we win, you're coming with me, right? And I said, of course I will, sir. And then about a week after the election, we were on the phone about something, the president and me, just chit-chatting. And it was the most anticlimactic thing ever. He goes, oh, by the way, you're going to be the White House press secretary, right? And I said, oh, Okay. And he said, so about that other thing, what do you think about that? What should we do? What should we say? And that was it. That's how I got the job. So there was no pomp and circumstance. It just, he just said it, and here we are. True Donald Trump fashion.
Right. What do you feel is the best thing about working for the Trump administration and the White House currently?
There's so many things I love about this job. For me, working with the press, as we like to call it, the fake news media, and they really are the fake news media. I see some cameras back there. I don't know if we welcomed anyone from the fake news. I'd be happy to take their questions if we did. But for me, the best part of the job is working for a president who is so transparent. Like, what you guys hear from President Trump and see from him on social media and on TV is exactly what we hear and see from him behind the scenes. Let me just assure you.
He's very real.
He is very real. He keeps it real. You saw it yesterday at the Easter lunch.
I saw it yesterday on full display. Yes.
Like, what you see is what you get. He is so authentic, which for me as his spokesperson makes my job easy, because when I walk in there and I say, sir, this story is coming out, truth, what do you want me to say? He just lays it on the table. There's no guessing, there's no questioning, there's no spin. It's just, it is what it is with him. And so as his spokeswoman, I'm very grateful for that, because I saw my predecessor in this role have a bit of a hard time, I think. And I think it's because she wasn't able to communicate with her boss in a very open and transparent way. And so the president's accessibility and transparency, not just to me and the rest of the West Wing staff, but to you, the American people, and to the news media, is so refreshing. And everything he says is exactly how he feels. There's no guessing. And he's honest and authentic about how he believes, and it makes my job much easier. And that's one of the things I love most about the job. Also, we never know what you're going to get when you walk into the White House these days. Every day is an adventure, for sure.
Is there anything that keeps you up at night with this job?
The fact that my boss is up all night and probably going to call at any hour.
Because he sleeps very, very little.
Very little.
Yeah.
Like maybe 4 hours a night. It's crazy. I'm a third his age and I can't keep up. I tell him that all the time. I think probably what keeps me up at night is I have a tendency not to sleep as well in this job, because there's just so much going on all the time. Breaking news, you never know what you're going to get when you wake up, whether it's the middle of the night or first thing in the morning. And I have all of the fake news media apps on my phone, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and I'll make the mistake of being awake at 3 a.m. and reading through some of the stories, and then my brain's going.
Awake.
Yeah.
You're awake. Your adrenaline's going.
I can't go back, yeah. No, my adrenaline's going, and my team knows. If you ask anyone who works for me, I see my assistant in the front row, she's smirking, because they'll wake up to the group chat, and I send texts between the hours of like 2 and 4 a.m. every night. And I'm like, we need to call this reporter in the morning. This is not true. We need to correct this, put this statement in this story. So it's just constant. It's a 24/7 news cycle we live in, and we're on the front lines of that at the White House every day.
Do you feel that's the most challenging aspect of your job, is just trying to keep up with the news cycle at times?
For sure. It's never ending. After this event, I'll go look at my phone and probably have 40 texts, 10 missed calls, all on different topics that I'll have to go sort through and figure out, and call Secretary Rubio or call Secretary Hegseth and try to get to the bottom of what's about to be reported and make sure that it's factual. So it's a never-ending process and challenge that we have with the media today. And it's just the digital age that we live in. It's the way that it is.
Is there anything that you feel needs to be either better explained, or, because here's the thing, is that we are not in all of the meetings. We're not in all of the briefing sessions. We don't really fully see, as the average American, what is going on behind the scenes in closed doors. So we only hear what the media tells us. Is there anything that students or just average American citizen should look at differently or pay attention to differently, or even shift their perspective on something a little bit more differently?
Well, you said something, Erika, that's really important, which is everyday Americans, you do depend on the news sources that you read to give you the information that you need to make decisions in your life. Economic news, political news, obviously it informs the electorate, it informs how people vote. And we have, unfortunately, an overwhelmingly biased and liberal media in this country. If you look at, I love the Media Busters organization. They do surveys week to week about the coverage on the cable channels in this country and how they're approaching their stories and their coverage of President Trump. And it is always in the 90s, 90% or more negative against the president and our policies. And you have to imagine the vast majority of the country is consuming that. And the president says it all the time. It's miraculous that he won nearly 80 million votes in the last election. It shows that people like you, many of the people in this room with those MAGA hats on, you see through the fake news and you really search for the truth. And I see that firsthand every day. The process that the fake news goes through to write stories, it's really just such a low level of journalistic integrity. I mean, they will find anyone and call them a source familiar with the White House, and then they'll just write what that person said, like it's the truth, like it's actually happening in our meetings, like it's actually being said behind closed doors. And I read so many stories every day that are just completely baseless. Things that were allegedly said that never were said. And sometimes they don't even come to the White House for comment. That's the craziest part, and that's my biggest pet peeve. It's like,
mine too.
You're writing this story with all these sources that you claim know what they're talking about, and you didn't even check with the people who are actually there, who will dispute it or at least give you the accurate information. And we deal with this. Our team at the White House receives about 200 to 300 press inquiries a day from outlets across the country and the world. And every single one that comes in usually has a biased perspective that we have to sort through and run down the facts. And you can imagine it's a very arduous process. So again, a piece of advice, do not believe everything you read. If you showed up willingly to this event tonight, you probably already don't, which is why you're a supporter of Turning Point and all the great work that Charlie did and Erika continues to do, because you want truth in our media landscape today, and we need more of it.
And how do you navigate knowing what's true and what's not? Because what I've been noticing is that a lot of these, especially independent journalists, they pedestal their sources above the actual individual or organization that they're talking about. How can students be able to delineate what is true, what is not? Is there a filter that you run news through yourself where you're like, pause, let's really think about this and break it down?
There unfortunately isn't just an easy solution to know what's factual and what's true. The best advice I could give is to take everything you read with a grain of salt. Nothing you really see, don't take it as gospel until you look at other places. You know, just because one influencer says something online based on one source doesn't mean it's real. And that is true of, the legacy outlets in this country, the New York Times, Washington Post. I read it all. I mean, that's how I start my day every day. I read the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, front to back. It pains me, but I need to know what they're saying, right? Because that really drives the news cycle of the day that we have to combat. But then also on, online engagement and what's happening on X and in other places in the digital world is important to understand, because oftentimes, as you know, what starts on X as a rumor then becomes a legacy media narrative. So you have to kind of get ahead of those things before they really spiral into something that's just a complete fallacy. So my advice would be to encourage everyone in this room to try to be the most well-read person in every room that you're in. That was a piece of advice one of my predecessors, Dana Perino, gave to me before I took this job. She said, you always want to be the most well-read person in the room. And I try to be every day. But Donald Trump always is. That man does not miss a story, let me tell you. He's always reading the papers and watching the TV. He doesn't miss anything anyone says in the whole world. I don't know how he does it and consumes it all. And it's a lot. And, you guys are busy, right? You're students, you're working, you're in school, you want to have fun, you want to live lives. You can't consume
every piece of news. But before you get really hot and bothered about something, or maybe angry, or even really encouraged by something, check other sources and then use your best judgment to sort of balance what the truth is. And unfortunately, that's just the way it has to be done.
And when you have that heavy intake of the press and you're reading all the stories, like you said, as a Christian, how do you guard your heart and mind when you read all of these from all walks of life, all different media types? How do you guard your mind and your heart from letting it penetrate and just really upset you or throw your whole day or just mess with even the internal narrative that you guys have in the admin?
Through prayer and faith. It's the only way to just cover yourself in prayer and in faith. And, you know, faith gives you such perspective that even the worst story or the worst news cycle is just a moment, and it's passing. This too shall pass. And, you know, I think seen videos, my team and I always pray before every briefing. That's a crucial step in our process as a team to prepare before we go out into the briefing room, into the lion's den, and go up against, you know, journalists who obviously are trying to trip me up. That's the nature of their questioning. And some of them, not all of them. Some of them are good people, and I think really want honest, factual answers. Not all. But it's through prayer and just faith that there's something so much bigger than what we're doing in this moment and on this day. But it's very easy to feel drowned by it all, because it's, you know, it's heavy stuff we're dealing with, and it's policies that are impacting our country and the world. And so there are days that are harder than others, but I think without faith, you couldn't do it.
And when I last saw you, I was so excited to hear, because on the way out, you had shared with me that your team specifically started a Bible study. Are there other, I mean, that to me makes my heart so happy to know that that is happening within the White House. Are there other groups within the admin that after Charlie, everything happened on 9/10, are there other groups within the admin that also have started their own little Bible study groups?
Members of the cabinet have started Bible studies. One of the most beautiful moments I've witnessed in this job was prior to the cameras coming into a cabinet meeting in the cabinet room. The president always sort of has private conversation with the cabinet and checks in and asks them, how's everyone doing? Is there anything you need from me? And it's sort of that private moment before the cameras roll in. You guys have seen these advertised 3-hour-long cabinet meetings that we hold about once or twice a month. But they do have that private talk. And there was a day in which Secretary Turner prompted a prayer over the president and over the rest of the cabinet. And I had the honor of just standing in the corner of the room for when the president wanted the media to come in and witness that moment with the president of the United States, the vice president of the United States, and the entire cabinet with their heads bowed in that beautiful cabinet room praying together. And I took a video of it on my phone, and I will save it forever, because it was the most powerful people in our country and the most powerful man in the world humbling themselves and just praying over each other for protection and safety and continued wisdom. And that was one of the best moments I've witnessed. But we have started a Bible study. It is all women. Men are welcome too if they want. Robert, I see you over there. He's my colleague. He can come if he wants. White House male staff are welcome, but it's been all ladies thus far. And it's been wonderful. Tuesday morning, 7:45 in the Roosevelt Room. And a colleague of mine, Dr. Heidi Overton, she's a big mind in the Maha movement. She's incredibly brilliant, and she leads the study. And it's all young women that are working in the West Wing and just need that moment of prayer before we get started with our very busy days.
I love that. So including that, what is so far your favorite memory in this role?
That's a hard question.
I know there's so many. You can name a few. You don't have to name just one.
You know, I think the best memories I've had thus far are those with my family, with my husband and our baby, Nico, who's going to be 2 this summer. And all of the holidays, the White House is such a special and beautiful place. Christmas time at the White House, it's decked out with trees and lights and just beauty. Those Christmas parties are such a joy. The Easter egg roll is a fun event. It's coming up on Monday. My son last year was a little baby. Now he'll be toddling around on the South Lawn on Monday. And I have the pleasure of reading to the children. So, those moments where I'm able to bring my family in and just enjoy how special of a place the White House is, that will go down as my favorite. Those will be the memories I remember forever.
I love that. Transferring now to college. When you were a college student, what was something that you held conviction-wise that allowed you to be courageous and bold on campus being a conservative that you can share with our students?
Free speech. When I was at St. Anselm College in New Hampshire, I realized I was one of the very few conservatives in my classes very quickly. And it would have been really easy, as you all know in this room, if you're part of your Turning Point chapter here on GW, to just shut up and be silent and, not share how you really feel, because as a conservative on a college campus today in America, you will be the ideological minority. It's just a fact. But we're changing that. I think we're changing that in a big way, thanks to Charlie and everything that you guys are doing. But you have to just speak freely and have the courage to be bold. And I wrote some editorials in the school newspaper that my liberal professors probably didn't like very much. But it allowed me to really, for the first time, I think, in my life, know that my voice mattered. Because after writing those newspaper articles, there were more students that were coming up to me saying, I agree with you. I'm just afraid to say it. I agree with you. I see some people shaking their heads who have had similar experiences. Courage is contagious. And not enough people have it. And if you have it, you'll inspire others to be courageous and to speak their mind and to speak freely, or maybe even change their mind. That's the whole purpose of this organization. And so I think just the courage to speak freely and be bold in your conviction is just tremendously important. And that's what Turning Point is all about.
And what about those students that feel afraid to share their convictions or even have courage going up against professors that they know will grade them differently? Charlie used to get asked the question all the time, should I change my paper that I'm writing so that my professor gives me a better grade, or should I just stick to what I know in my heart to be right and just write that out, even though I get a lesser grade for it?
You just have to do it. Just do it. One grade versus standing up for what you know to be true and righteous will lead you to so many greater paths, better friends, real friendships, better job opportunities. It will expand doors that you didn't even know existed when you choose to stand up for what you believe, rather than just silencing yourself because you want one good grade on one paper. You have no idea what God will do in your life until you really start to be bold and courageous and open those doors, and He'll continue to open them for you.
After graduation, how did you know you wanted to get into the political landscape, and how did you go about that route?
Well, I actually applied to be a White House intern. And is anyone in here a White House intern or want to be a White House intern? We just opened the application, whitehouse.gov/intern. Go apply. It's a great experience. Someone's nodding their head over there. Go for it. I'll get your name after. We'll put in a good recommendation. No, it was an amazing experience, and I just applied. I didn't have any political connections. My parents are small business owners up in New Hampshire. Zero political experience, but my college was political just for being in New Hampshire, the first in the nation primary state. And all of you who go here have that advantage. You are at George Washington University. You are in the heart of our nation's capital. You are exactly where you need to be if politics is what you want to do. So God bless you all, and congratulations for being here, because you're already a step ahead of many of your peers at your age who might want to be involved in politics just by the nature of being in this city and up so close and personal. You could walk to the White House tonight and be there in 5 minutes. You can walk to Capitol Hill. Might take a little longer, but you can get there soon too. And you have this firsthand experience to history, which I didn't have. I grew up in New Hampshire and went to school there. But a colleague of mine at school, she was a White House intern under President Obama. And I remember her talking about it in class, and I thought, that sounds really cool. Like, I want to be a White House intern, so I just went online and applied. And God blessed me with that opportunity, which then led to so many doors opening after that, working in the White House full time, running for Congress, and then, of course, all the political opportunities since, and now this job today. And little did I know when I hit send on that application that I was even going to be accepted. Never thought it would lead me to this job. So take the risk and just apply. Apply for jobs you don't think you are qualified for or will get. Even if you have no political connections, it does not matter. You can get there with hard work and with putting yourself forward. That's what it takes, that first step. To just say, I want to do this, I'm going to try. You have to try or else you'll never see if you can succeed.
And as you are in this role, how do you juggle family, career, faith all together? What is your roadmap for that?
I don't know if there is a roadmap.
I know there's not, but
it's something
I'm
still working on every day. No, being a mother is the best job in the world. I love my job as White House press secretary, but nothing compares to the job of being a mom, as you know. And I have become a mother of one and now soon two in the midst of the craziness of my career. And it's a lot of prioritization. You learn very quickly when you have a family that your family, you know, in my case, my husband and my son, come above anything else in life. That's just what happens. Aside from God, of course, God, your husband, your children, your family, your friends, and work. And I try to prioritize my life in that order. And it just means that when I'm at work, I try to be as present as I can and as best as I can. And when I get home for our bedtime routine with my son every night, which I prioritize making it home for that I'm as present as I can be as his mother and soaking up every waking second that I'm not at the office with him and with my husband. And just balancing that act, it's a tricky one. And there are days that are longer and days that are better. But ultimately, it's just about that balance and that list of priorities you have to make in order to make it work. In a support system, as you know, it takes a village. I have an amazing mother who's here. I have an amazing husband and friends and family who are always willing to help. And that really, I'm grateful for that. And I know not everyone has that. But it really is helpful with this job and being a mom. But I would tell all the women in the audience tonight, you can do both. You absolutely can. You may not want to, and that's okay too, but you can make it work. It just takes, again, prioritizing your time and leaning on those around you, having a great partner, a great husband to bear your children with, and to just take it day by day.
I know how that is. Charlie in dad mode was one of my favorite. Charlie in dad mode and vacation mode were two of like my favorite versions among all the other versions that I was obsessed with, still am. But he was very intentional about bedtime with the kids. There'd be even times where he was in a meeting and he'd look at his phone and be like, I gotta go. And he'd come straight home and he would read. Our daughter, she'd go into the bookshelf and pick out the book for him to read. And it was always some form of a Curious George book. But it's amazing because she would ask him to read the same story 5 times. And it wasn't like, oh, again. He was always so good about, yeah, of course, honey, we can read it again and again. But
I'm glad my kid's not the only one who asked for 5 times the same
story. But you have a point where bedtime is so important. And Charlie even knew, even with honoring the Sabbath, and that intentional quality time with your family is so priceless. And to prioritize that is something that really was able to take him to the next level, which is really special.
And it fuels you to be better at your job when you are able to take that time and be fully present. Like I find Monday mornings, I'm the most chipper and ready to go in the office, where most people are like, dragging their butts, exhausted. I'm like full of life because I had that weekend family time with my baby and my husband that's so important. It fuels you. And that's why I tell young women, you can and you should do both, because actually being a mom and having a family and having a job, it gives you the greatest perspective. Because you can have the hardest, worst, most stressful day at your job, but when you go home to a beautiful baby and children who are just happy to see you no matter what, it is the most refreshing, beautiful thing, and it gives you the best perspective on life. Like, nothing else matters except for that. Who cares what the Daily Beast wrote today? You know, like, who cares what the headlines are? Like, I have an amazing son who just wants to be loved and play trucks and read the same dino book 5 times in a row. And that really gives you the perspective you need, I think, to be successful in your career. And it helps you to be a better, not only a better mother, but also better at your job too.
No, totally. There will be people that are like, did you see what they're saying about you on X? And I'm like, no, I quite frankly, I don't have time. And actually, quite frankly, I really do not care. I am actually really busy right now playing Magnetiles, and that is way more
and changing
important,
diapers.
yes, than hearing the endless onslaught that really is just noise. Noise. Is there anything that you can leave with our students, an idea, a strategy, a life goal, anything that you want to share with them to take with them as they go about their day and the rest of the school year? School year is almost over, so even for the seniors, is there anything, I mean, remember when you graduated college, was there anything that you held on in your heart of like, now I get to go start my career, or do you go to graduate school? Like, is there anything you want to share with them before they?
Yeah. People always ask me, like, what advice can you give me, you know, young people? And I'm going to give you a piece of advice that is not novel. You've definitely heard it before. It's very simplistic. Work hard. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds so lame, and you're probably like, wow, she couldn't have thought of something better for us, but nothing beats hard work. There is no substitute for it. And be that person that stays at the office later than your boss every single day. Be that person that shows up first to work or to your internship. You know, be that person that so noticeably works their butt off at every single thing that they do that you can't go unnoticed in whatever opportunity you're in, whether that's school, academia, graduate school, whether any of you go on to serve in our military. People will, oh, thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your service. People notice the hustlers. And now as a boss, you know, with a staff, you notice those who work hard and hustle, and you notice those who don't. And so you never want to be that person. You want to be that person who shows up relentlessly every day with a positive attitude, willing to work hard. And that's going to help get you to wherever you want to go. There's just no substitute for it.
I agree. Charlie used to say, work harder, be better. And he would even give advice saying, if they can't hire you because they don't have the funds to do so, tell them that you'll work for free. And show them your work ethic, show them that you're bought in for the mission, and if you do that properly, you will have a position.
That's right.
For that company,
out.
For that organization, for that campaign.
Absolutely. One of my first real jobs, I guess you could say, was at WMUR, Channel 9 News, ABC affiliate in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I was a freshman in college, and there's one television station in New Hampshire, by the way. They're like the big deal up there. And I thought I wanted to be a broadcast journalist at that time. How the tables have turned. And so I called up the news director, Alicia is her name, and I said, I want to work. She's like, who are you? I said, I'm a student at St. A's down the street. I want to work here. I just want to be in a newsroom and see if this is what I want to do for my career. I will literally sweep your floors. And when I said that, she said, I'm not hiring, but I'll hire you. And so I started Saturday night shifts from like 5 p.m. to 11:30, which as a college student, that's a rough time, okay? To be working in a newsroom, as you know, 5 p.m. on a Saturday night. Not ideal, but I took the job. And then it led me to so many other opportunities in college. So yes, Charlie was right about that. And it's age-old advice, but it will never cease to exist because it's just true and it's real.
I didn't realize we're going over, so I still want to get to some questions from the audience. So we can...
We could just chat all night.
Yeah, we can chat all night, or we can start.
Are you guys enjoying this, or is this fun? Okay.
You're so quiet.
I know. Before we take any questions, I do have to ask you, because I get this question a lot. What is a Bible verse or a book in the Bible that is, I mean, the whole Bible is my favorite, but what is the one that you sometimes come back to recenter and refocus?
Almost every day. From the book of Psalm 46:5, God is within her. She will not fall. I see some other ladies like that. I want to get that tattooed on my forehead some days because I feel it so deeply.
No regrets.
I won't do that. But that verse is just in my heart, and I recite it multiple times a day. I think about it and recite it to myself out loud and privately every time before I take the podium. Sometimes when I'm at the podium in the middle of a briefing, I will just repeat that verse in my mind, and it just gives me the fortitude that I need to know that God is with me, and I will not fall physically or mentally or figuratively or literally, and it gives me the strength. It's my favorite verse, hands down.
I love it. All right, let's take some questions from the student. I can't see. Oh, okay, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. I'm Heidi. I'm a student from Georgetown University, and I'm studying journalism. In class, we were talking about how the Trump administration, for the first time ever, officially incorporated content creators and podcasters into the White House press pool. This obviously breaks a century-old tradition at the White House, and I'm personally a big fan of Riley Gaines and her podcasts. I know she does a lot of work with Turning Point and Erika, and it was really great to see her have the opportunity to ask you, Caroline, a question in the press briefing room. So my question for you today, Caroline, is what are the standards you're using to choose which podcaster, which content creator, or which independent journalist gets White House press access? And should we expect to see more of that in the future?
Sure. Well, thank you. And God bless you for studying journalism. We need more real journalists, investigative journalists in this country. So I applaud you for taking up that profession. We decided very early, actually prior to my taking the job, during the transition period between the campaign and the White House, I spoke with, those of us who worked on the president's communication team during the campaign about the need to shake up the White House press corps. And the president did such a phenomenal job in the 2024 race, as you all know, of really owning that non-traditional media lane. He was willing to go places that no other candidate was. Kamala Harris couldn't because she would have word salad herself to death. I don't even think that's a word. I just made it up. But, she was afraid to go on Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn or some of these other podcasts. And Joe Biden certainly couldn't do it because he wasn't even awake for half the campaign. So President Trump was able to really own and dominate that non-traditional media lane. And so as his press secretary, I thought it would have been a dereliction of my duty serving him if we did not welcome those new media voices into the briefing room. And so we announced it, I think at one of my very first press briefings, that we would be opening the doors to non-traditional media, and we've been able to have people like Riley Gaines and many other podcasters and content creators and influencers in that seat in the briefing room, and to bring them in and to give them daily access, daily passes. Many of them we see on a daily basis. They cover the White House as full-time jobs now. They have seats on Air Force One. Jack Posobiec joined us in the White House press pool. You can imagine the looks on the CNN host faces when they showed up for the trip with President Trump, and Jack Posobiec was in the press pool, but we love him. And, they have bigger audiences and followings than many of the legacy media journalists do. So they deserve a seat at the table. We feel strongly about that, and we're glad to welcome them. And we don't base it on ideology. I've had liberal commentators and liberal podcast hosts, and I would welcome more in the new media seat. And it's about reaching as many Americans as we can with the president's message. That's what I view the core function of my job as being.
How do they apply for that? How would an independent journalist apply to be able to be a part of the press pool?
So we have it up on our website on whitehouse.gov, or they can email the press team, press@who.eop.gov. And we've credentialed hundreds of new media journalists, and they don't have to come every day, but you can show up on a briefing day. We'll give you a press pass. You have to be vetted by Secret Service and go through the whole process just like any other legacy journalist has. And we abide by those guidelines. But then once you're in, you're in. And if you show up and you're willing to pay to come on those
trips, we welcome them to do that and to travel with the president and to be firsthand of history and to report on that to their audiences. And it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to have fun with it and meet so many amazing people who have real voices and real audiences out there.
I love it. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm a student here at GWU. You are obviously part of this administration and one that is always under the spotlight, and you, of course, are as press secretary. How do you balance it all? And you're about to be a mother too, so what's your day-to-day life like?
The day-to-day. People ask me that. My assistant wants me to do a TikTok on a day in the life. Do we think I should do that? I'm like...
I think you should. Because it's different every day.
It is different every day. But I wake up very early. I read the news front to back. If my son wakes up before I leave, he's been sleeping in lately. He's being a lazy boy. I know. I'm like, good for you, buddy.
My kids are up early.
Yeah, no, he's been
ready to
sleeping
go.
late. So sometimes I miss him in the mornings. But if he's up before I leave, I get my time in with him and get him up and get him his bottle and start feeding him breakfast. And then I get myself ready and get out the door early. Our mornings in the West Wing do start early. And then I work, and then I make it home for bedtime. And that's my day after day after day. And you never know what a day in the West Wing, especially working for President Trump, will bring. And that's the beauty of the job. That's what makes it fun, also what makes it very challenging. But they're long days, Monday through Friday, and then sometimes Saturdays and Sundays are crazy too, depending on what's happening in the news and what the president has going on in his schedule and in his world. But it's a jam-packed day daily at the White House.
Do you have to travel with him every time that he goes?
Not every time, no, thankfully. I have a great team and staff who will take some of the weekend trips to Mar-a-Lago. But, the bigger trips, the foreign travel, I've been so blessed to join him all around the world. We literally flew around the globe last year when we went to Asia. And the pilot on Air Force One actually announced when we were finally landing at D.C., congratulations, you have just flown on Air Force One around the entire globe. And we were all so tired, and we were like, yeah, we feel it. That was a crazy trip. But to go to South Korea and Malaysia and Japan and all of these amazing places has been a real honor. And to meet heads of state and to be part of that is probably, other than the Easter egg roll, my other favorite memory on this job.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you both for talking to us tonight. My name is Mokul. I'm a student at GWU as well. As you both know, there's a lot of conservative students across the country who are attending mainly liberal universities where we face censorship, event disruption, grading bias, and just a lack of respect from peers, mentors, and the university itself. And it can be incredibly draining and isolating for students who might not be vocal about their political beliefs or who aren't part of a conservative community on campus. And I speak from experience. And I wanted to ask, what advice do you guys have for students who might not fit in ideologically with their own community or who just want to fight for free speech, core American values, and there's just more diversity in higher education viewpoint in our nation's capital?
I'll just say from the experience of seeing my husband do it, he was so courageous, like you talked about going to the Lion's Den, that he gave his life for free speech. I think, and I've said this before, the more that you take light out of dark places, the darker it will get. So I just pray that each and every one of you, especially students, look to my husband as the example to speak with truth and take your freedom of speech from the standpoint of responsibility of engaging in discourse and dialogue, but doing it in a way where you are obviously standing for what you believe in, but also giving the people who don't agree with you an opportunity to share why. Because when you listen, then you can respond better rather than just, being like, oh, we don't agree on anything. You might actually agree on more than you think, but I just want to encourage you guys to continue to watch my husband's videos and see how he engaged. And even what I loved the most is seeing the evolution of him being on campus. At first, he would hold the microphone while the other person across the table was speaking. And as time went on, he put the microphone down to actually listen and then be able to engage appropriately from there, and really just doing what even Jesus did, which was ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But again, I just hope that my husband continues to be an inspiration to all of you of how to properly engage with those that you do not agree with.
And I would say, yes. Charlie was the best at that. He was the best at that, being able to stand a foot away from someone who is ardently disagreeing with you, sometimes in vile ways, with disgusting rhetoric, but still being able to maintain his composure and respect for the other side of the debate, no matter the issue, was something that I think we can all continue to learn from. And you're already taking your own advice. I mean, the fact that you're here and you're standing up there with the spotlight on you and the microphone in your hand asking a question at an event like this, where I'm sure there's many people on this campus who will not appreciate that all of you showed up tonight. The fact that you're just here and you're involved, you're taking your own advice, whether you know it or not. So, God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will be the last question.
One more after this.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm from Club America, and I'm a junior in high school. I know that Charlie was incredibly effective at communicating conservative values to young men, but many women my age seem to be moving in the opposite direction regarding like marriage and career. So, what do you think needs to change to make the messaging more compelling to women my generation?
That's a good question, Erika.
From the
While
standpoint,
I sit here and think.
From the standpoint of telling them career versus family?
Yeah.
Well, from my experience, before I met Charlie, I did have my own company, but I built it in a way where once I met Charlie and then we got married and had a family, it could run on its own. So I could focus on being a wife and being with my kids. And that was my priority. That was everything to me. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. There's single mothers out there. There's people that have different circumstances. I think you really need to pray about where the Lord is taking you. And if you do have a husband that's supportive and you are blessed to be a stay-at-home mom, that's just as much of a massive role and a job as being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You are the guardian of your home, and raising your children is the most precious blessing that you could have as a woman, because as a woman you were made to be a mother. And so I just would implore anyone who is struggling with that option to really pray, and you and your husband are able to make that decision together as what's best for your family and your children. Okay, and then real quick, is there anything that we can be praying? I can't see.
One more?
You want to take one more?
Yeah,
okay,
let's
we'll
do
take
it.
one more. Sorry.
Please.
We're just really running over, so that's the only way. Go ahead.
All right, I'll speak loudly. My name is Ryan Caldwell. I go to GW. My question is about the Save America Act.
Yes.
Who do not
I'm glad you're calling it. It is the Save America Act, not the Save Act.
That requires various forms of ID and proofs of citizenship in order to prevent voter fraud. However, voter fraud is incredibly rare. According to the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative database, by the way, there have only been a few hundred cases of voter fraud since 1982 out of hundreds of millions of votes. Additionally, according to the Brennan Institute of Justice, there are 21.8 million Americans who do not have easy access to proofs of citizenship. So my question to you is it worth it to risk millions of Americans from voting in order to prevent a few hundred cases of voter fraud?
First of all, thank you for the question. No need to boo. It's an honest question. I'm happy to give you an honest answer. First of all, I have not seen the data you provided, so I'd like to go check it myself and make sure that it's actually accurate in the way that you're citing it. And there is certainly much more, I believe, voter fraud in this country, and I'm sure the statistics back it up, than what you cited with one survey. And why are you okay with any voter fraud in the United States of America? We are the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we should have the safest and most secure elections of any country on earth. And it is
transparent.
And transparent. And it is absolutely absurd that voter ID is not the land of the law in this country already. And 89%, 80 to 90%, based on which poll you look at, of Americans in this country support bringing a piece of identification to the polls when you cast a ballot in an American election. And that is all the Save America Act is asking people to do, to prove you're a citizen and to bring an ID to the polls to vote in elections in the greatest country in the history of the planet. And this idea that the Save America Act would disenfranchise anyone is frankly insulting, that Americans aren't smart enough to get the proper identification to go vote and show up to the ballot box. So I will end by saying we absolutely should pass the Save America Act. It's a common sense piece of legislation, and Democrats would be wise to get on board with this, because the only people in the world, except for maybe the gentleman who asked the question, seem to be politicians in this city who don't want voter ID and proof of citizenship in American elections. So I think everybody on Capitol Hill should pass that piece of legislation.
Okay, thank you for your question. Yep. Is there anything that we can be praying for you for, as, you know, obviously you're pregnant, but is there anything specific that we can be praying for you as you go about your day? And
it's so sweet. Pray for the safety of everyone at the White House, myself and the president, of course, and all those who work for him, and our great cabinet who are working so hard in the face of disagreement. I would pray for that. Thank you.
All right. God bless you guys. Thank you for coming.
Have a
good night.
Thank you.